So I'm going to take a little bit different stance than some of the others, right? I'm the business guy, and wait, I'm getting a reverb here. And I'm talking to her team a lot. And so I want to give you guys some pieces of information that a little bit uncertain for those of you who are trying to look at things from a business standpoint. First of all, Kamala she knows the deal, right? She knows what's up. She is open-minded. She is not an ideologue, right? She is not walking in the door saying, this is what I think about everything. This is the only way it's going to be. And she has her own values, which you hear her talk a lot. She has her own goals and her own mission. And honestly, between us, it doesn't always match up with Joe Biden. She is not Joe Biden. And I think what's really interesting to me is that her team now really appears to have learned from what worked for Donald Trump, right? She's not doing it the old Democrats way. She's not doing it the old 2010 way. She's doing it the 2024 way, right? She's digging in and she's saying, doesn't matter the way we did things before. What's the best way for America in 2024? And she's asking the question, how can I get there so that it's good for working people, it's good for people who aren't working, and it's good for business too, right? They don't bring me, they have Spike, and Spike knows them. They have you guys to talk to her about what's happening in America. Spaziki knows all of those things, right? But, I'm the business guy. They bring me in for that Shark Tank shit. And so the cool part is she listens, right? When she's talking about, taxing unearned income, that stuff's not going to happen. When she's talking about taxing capital gains as regular income, that's not going to happen. And then what they've asked me and some other folks I know, they're like, look, you've been blessed, right? You've had things that I never, growing up in Pittsburgh, going to ABA games for my favorite player, John Brisker. Thank you very much. Coach, I know you know exactly who that is, and none of us will know whatever happened. But the important point here is that when we're going in there and we're talking about how can we do things for this country, she's asking folks like me, Mark, you got to give your fair share. What's the best way to do it? She's not just saying, this is the way I think it has to be. And so, things like capital gains, she came out not at 39% today, she came out at 28%. Corporate income, 28%, not as high as it was under Obama, right? So she's finding ways to increase how business people can invest in other businesses. We had long talks with her team about supporting entrepreneurs and supporting startups. And what does she do? She raises the deductions for startups to $50,000. And you know why? You know what they say when they were talking to me? Like, Mark, this isn't going to change a million startups, but if we can have that one kid coming from Indiana University, from Mount Lebanon or Squirrel Hill or University, wherever, right? And coming out and creating that one business that changes the world because we were thinking about ways to get them started. That's a big step forward. Honestly, if you go back and look at the guys she's competing against, Biden before, Obama before him, nobody has been as pro-business, particularly pro-entrepreneur, pro-startup, and pro-founder as the vice president, as Kamala Harris. I've been so pleasantly surprised. I'm one of those guys that just throws out idea after idea after idea, and her team is like, keep them coming, right? She's not here to put it to the business guy, right, or woman. She's not here to say, okay, you're rich, we're taking all we can from you. She's doing it the right way. And I don't mean trickle down, right? Lowest taxes possible, so it all trickles down. She thinks more in trickle up, right? When we were talking about what's a good capital gains tax, and we were talking about where should it be, I'm like, well, if you get it too high, it's hard to invest in risky companies. And the companies that have the greatest risk, for better or worse right now, are kids starting business that are people of color, LGBTQ, women. They have the hardest time getting investors because they're the riskiest investment. The higher the capital gains, the harder it is for them to get investment. What does she do? She sets them lower than everybody expected. I mean, that's just insane and amazing. And so when you're talking to, and the reason I say all this, for those of you that talk to other business people who may be supporting the other guy, and they're saying she's not pro-business, she's just trying to tax us into oblivion, all she wants to do is take more from us. It's the exact opposite. She's trying to create a system that's fair. That's her value, a system that's fair. And when it's fair, it also has to be able to allow investors to invest in people who can and help them reach the American dream. That's what it's all about. Because every time some kid has a dream and makes it, just like Spike went from, film school to us all knowing, Coach Carl went from, batshit Pittsburgh, to where he is today. We all have had this dream to go and make something happen. And she wants that dream to come true for as many people as possible, but not by saying the government's going to do it all. The government's there to help. The government has its role, but she wants business people to be part of the solution. She wants business people to feel respected, and she wants us to go out there and pay our fair share of taxes. And so for those of you who know me, if you have any ideas on a better way to do things, you just get it to me, right? Get it to Brett, get it to Coach Carl, and they'll get it to me, and I'll share it with her team. She is that wide open. And I've never been able to say this with any of the candidates I've worked with over the past 20 years. So I'll leave it at that. And the only thing I'll add is go Mavs.